All right, folks, here we go. That's it. Well, Championship Sunday is already here and is in the history books, folks. And I tell you what, you know what? Hey guys, yeah, I almost felt like this was a maternity ward. We kept waiting for the baby to get delivered, and hey, hey, but here we all go. That's where, folks. Championship Sunday is here. I'm your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore. Elwin Henderson up in the for the Gilmer Mirror, and the MVP Lemont Williams. But guys, before we get that, hey folks, say hello. Hey, we ready? The lineup has been set, and you know what? One great game, one in. Okay. So, but before we do that, let's do this, and then we get ready to get in there and chop it up.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
Yep, that's right, folks. Ken Ross Agency, 281-235-5952. All your insurance needs. Call him. Give him a call. You can call him right now. If you don't answer the phone, he'll get back with you. All right, guys. Championship Sunday is in the books. The unique thing about it, we're gonna have two starting quarterbacks, one with a bad shoulder, one with a bad high ankle sprain. But in 2 weeks, ain't no telling what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But for right now, let's get to Philadelphia. I mean, 31-7 today, and be quite candid with you, I think this game was over with at about the 7:02 mark of the first quarter.
Yeah.
That was it. Elwin, your initial comments on Philadelphia and the 49ers.
I agree with you. I thought it was going to be a great game based on the way Pretty had been playing. But when he went out, you knew there was no way in the world they were going to be able to stay in the game very long. And, unfortunately they didn't. That one was a disappointing game, I guess, for everybody except the Philadelphia Eagles and their fans.
Lemont?
I agree. Once Purdy went down, it was kind of like deflated the whole organization of the San Francisco 49ers. It felt like they just didn't have it. They didn't have confidence in Josh Johnson. I mean, no one did. I mean, he didn't even expect probably to play. I mean, a 4-string quarterback now taking over the range. That's a lot of, to take on in a championship game. Defensively, D'Amico Ryan had his guys motivated, but they couldn't stop the running game. They had 4 rushing touchdowns against them early on, and it just felt like it just kind of, the momentum just continued to go on the Eagles side, and before you know it, it was 31-7.
Let me pose this question, guys. Brock Purdy, I mean, he's had a good run, but did it finally look like that the clock struck 12 on him? I mean, maybe just finally, because he stayed within the confines on the way they had the offense structured for him. He had enough pieces around him, but today you had a defense that took away a lot of those pieces. And really, I mean, it was pathetic in the second half just to sit there and watch them. They went Wildcat, they went everything. And I mean, Lemont, like you said, once Johnson went down, I mean, the guy had 15 years in the league, and I mean, let's face it, he's drawn a lot of paychecks, but I'm pretty sure he was not expecting to be in that ball game today. No stretch of imagination.
No, and the thing about it, I think you may have hit on something. You said maybe the clock struck midnight for Purdy, but I think it would have been a much better game had he not gotten injured. Now, did I still think the Eagles would have won the game? Yes. I don't think there's any way on their best day the Niners could have won the game, but I think it could have been a 7-point game, maybe a 10-point game, and at least been interesting and fun to watch past the quarter.
I think emotionally and mentally he was out of it. I think when we saw the highlights of him whispering or talking to Coach Shanahan saying that he couldn't go back in, I just thought he checked out mentally and emotionally. I just felt like, it's all eyeballs was on him. The whole world was watching the first game kicking off championship weekend. For him to get injured right early in the first quarter, he probably a little up. I don't want this much. I'm already dealing with pressure. Now I'm dealing with more pressure on top of being injured. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just check out. That's what I thought he said. I'm gonna go ahead and check out, stand on the sideline, and allow someone else to step in those shoes and figure it out, because right now I don't have the answers. I mean, he had to go back in when Johnson went down with that concussion. But if Johnson wouldn't went down with that concussion, he would have stayed right on that sideline with his elbow wrapped up, in my opinion.
That's true. And the thing about that, Lamont, is you stop and think about it. All of his teammates saw what was going on and saw his attitude, look on his face. And that's just like having somebody pop the balloon in front of you and drain all the air out of the whole team.
Yeah. It's kind of like what Mike Tyson said. Everyone comes in the game plan with a plan until they get hit in the face. He got hit and he got hurt and he realized, oh crap, I'm in the dogfight. And it's a difference between when he got injured. And the reason why I say emotionally and mentally he checked out, because when 2 weeks ago or a week ago when Patrick Mahomes went down, he couldn't wait to get back in it. He was trying to find a way to get back in there. You saw him, his energy, his mindset. I need to get back in with my teammates, my guys. I need to fight, even though his ankle wasn't that great. But eventually he fought through it. When Purdy got hurt, he was like, man, it was like he just felt like he wasn't. If he would have known going into the game he was going to get injured, he would have been a little bit more prepared for it. But the fact that it was unexpected, he was like, let me just go ahead and just figure out and stand on the sideline, safer over here, because that defense is flying around right now. So,
yep.
Well, okay. There's a difference. I guess I look at the differences in the injuries, guy. You talking about a high ankle sprain, and you talking about his throwing shoulder. And you look at I'm looking at the way that Hanson Reddick, the way when he came forward to see in slow motion. I mean, it looks like it. I don't know. I can't put myself in that position because never been I only play. I mean, I did play quarterback in scrimmage games, but I mean on the field. when let somebody, a big edge rusher, and your hands coming forward, and you see your shoulder that particularly at the elbow. I mean, because first I thought he might have been broken his wrist right above,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I thought initially. When everybody started grabbing, I thought initially, oh, Darren, he got his wrist. But again, to throw the football, I mean, this is what you got to have. This you got to you got to have it, and so I mean, and plus, let's face it, this I mean. He's probably never been hurt like this on this particular stage.
No,
Lemont, I think you are getting into the final point. If you never been in that situation before, or been on that stage, and with the amount of eyeballs that was on this game today, at that point in time, I mean, from an NFL historical standpoint, when you think about who's been in that position for the 49ers. The Steve Youngs and so forth, and you just go like, oh, wait a minute, Steve Young has been here. He very well could be. I think the assessment I won't necessarily. It's a strong assessment. Had he checked out, or he said, Darren, I can't do this. I just look at it where, because like I said, I initially thought it was his wrist, but it was his elbow. And let's face it, none of us between shoulders and elbows, because we're gonna have an injured shoulder, coming in with Philadelphia, and we're gonna have a high ankle sprain, going to Glendale in 2 weeks. So it could very well could be, but I think more than anything, guys, I think the Philadelphia offensive line took control.
Mm-hmm.
And really, they didn't put Jalen Hurt in the position that he was gonna have to throw, and he chose his times to run. And it's almost like, when he started running that ROP, that read option, it was almost at a point that they had started to wear down that front four that front seven of the 49ers. And then that's when Jalen Hurts, to me, I thought was very strategic in the fact that when he started running, because they had worn him down, and when he started running, heck, who wants to start chasing Jalen Hurts after you've been slamming? You've been slamming running backs, you've been having big linemen, and all of a sudden he comes with the ROP, and let's face it, what's the one person out there they don't account for running the football? Quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, maybe that was the case, man. But hey, you tip your hat to it, man. Shanahan, in that second half, man, that Shanahan was looking on the play sheet, and everybody knew we can't throw the ball.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot. They couldn't even throw a screen pass.
Mm-hmm.
Once they went to 8 men in the box and stayed there, there was nothing you saw like 2 or 3 yards or not lost it.
So, hey, it's season well. Season well done. For the 49ers, they it's only so many teams. There's only so many times you're gonna have to go on the road to be a road warrior. And today, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, clock struck 12 for him, and for Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. I don't think he's irrelevant anymore. But let me pose this question, guys, and then we're gonna jump over to the game and just be completed. Does the 49ers still have a quarterback issue? The 49ers still have a quarterback problem. Forget Johnson. Let's face it. I'm not talking about him. You got
he's a career backup. Yeah,
that's where he is at. But you got. What do you? Your initial Lemond and Elvin. What do y'all think the 49ers going to do for him, a quarterback from next year? Who's going to be there?
I think Trey Lance still have an opportunity based on what took place today. If Purdy would have came out there and showed up and showed out offensively and led that team to a victory in the Super Bowl, I think it would have been his spot to lose going into next season. The fact that an injury plagued him from being successful today gave Trey Lance as well as Jimmy Garoppolo until they figure out what they're going to do with him. It's still an audition for a starting quarterback for whoever is going to be there, Trey Lance, Jimmy G, or Purdy going into next season.
Yeah, just piggyback on what Lemont said, along with the fact, let's face it, guys, Dak Prescott's a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
You get in a big game once, and everybody has it in their mind, it happens a second time, a third time, a fourth time, and so on. And I don't think Kyle Shanahan, coming from the pedigree he does from his dad, Mike Shanahan, I just don't see Kyle Pedigree putting all of his marbles in the Purdy box.
Yeah, because that's going to make him look bad from a drafting standpoint. He wrote all he put all his cards on the table when he went for Trey Lance.
Yep.
And
he did.
Even when Jimmy G was successful a couple of seasons ago for the 49ers, he even said it, I'm moving forward from Jimmy G. I'm going with the guy I drafted. So it's something about Trey Lance that he likes. He feels that Trey Lance has the same skill set or similar to a lot of these RPO quarterbacks, dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL. And Trey's on the side. He hasn't really proved himself because he got injured early in the season. So a lot of people want to see how that's going to play out. I think he might trade Jimmy G for some leverage and get some picks and keep Purdy and let him and Trey figure it out.
I think that's a likely scenario since, as you said, Lemont, Shanahan's been wanting to pass Garoppolo, but I still believe, despite the fact he's had 2 or 3 injuries, I still believe Garoppolo can be a quarterback for somebody in the NFL next season somewhere.
Texans. I mean, you think about it, the Texans can use his services. I mean, if the Texans drive CJ Stroud or go with Bryce Young, he's not going to be able to walk in the door and be ready to go. They got to be able to adjust. And give that kid at least, give him a couple of games on the sideline. Don't throw him in the fire in the Lions den. Because look, that's what Davis Mills. They threw him in the Lions den. He's never been the same since. He's still starstruck.
I guess Lemont froze.
Can you hear me?
No, we're all back now.
Okay. Now I was just saying, I think when the Texans threw Davis Mills in the fire, he's never been the same since. But I think Jimmy G can come in with his experience, give the Texans a temporary face until their quarterback get up to speed with this new offensive coordinator.
Hey, idea. Bring him in.
So you think D'Amico Ryans will bring Jimmy G in here with him as the? But who?
Why not? He knows him.
Yeah.
Hey, good. I mean, that's why I sort of threw it in there. It's an interesting topic, guys. But hey, let's back up. Let's get to the other game, because let's get to Arrowhead, because as far as this game here was an exercise, I think some demons got exercised today in Arrowhead, because for a moment there, man, Joe Burrow. I mean, even though he threw, a couple, one interception, I'm trying to figure out what he threw, but the one, I think the one he was trying to go to was it T. Higgins when they bounced the ball up, and then the other guy, when they played tip drill on that one. Other than that, but man, let me tell you something. Those receivers, I would take the third best one out for Cincinnati and put it on the Texans right now.
Oh yeah,
and they could probably be the starting wide receiver. They would be the ace receiver. They would be the ace receiver compared to what they have right now. But 23-20, a 45-yard field goal from Harrison Butker, and with 8 seconds left on the clock, I think that if the thing about it, the defense, and it was something, and let's face it, I think all of us had picked Cincinnati last week, but you know what? I'll stand up and take my medicine. I didn't think that. I didn't think that, and I primarily was looking at Mahomes and the fact that, and let's face it, that ankle was tender today, but he gutted it out.
I'm gonna tell you, in my mind, that pushed him even further toward status of Tom Brady, because Brady never had to do what Patrick Mahomes had to do today. He injured the ankle. He ran when he didn't feel like running, but as we all know, the bottom line, that game was going to overtime if you don't have that stupid, unnecessary roughness 15-yard penalty that gave Butker the 5-yard field goal try. I'm like, guys, pulling for Patrick Chiefs. I would have picked the Chiefs had Patrick not have been hurt, but even I underestimated what Mr. Whitehouse could do.
Yeah, Patrick, man, he gutted it out. He proved me wrong, and he proved us wrong. I picked Cincinnati on the hot streak, the hand of Joe Burrow. I thought the defense really brought a lot of pressure, sacked him a couple. It was like 4 sacks in the first half.
Yeah.
From Kansas City. So that rattled Joe Burrow early on, and I gave the confidence back to Kansas City. I think all the underestimating and the Burrow sling, they was throwing mud towards Patrick Mahomes, and it was barrelhead and all this stuff. I think that gave it's funny how motivation and inspiration can, at this level, it's only the little things. You know what I mean? It's only the little things in the NFL that can get. That's why guys say that don't give them billboard material, because guys will use that as motivation, even despite being hurt. And Patrick Mahomes, even though he was doped up with those shots and going into it to get that ankle ready, that mental mindset of, okay, y'all think this guy's going to pass me, and this is not a rivalry, and this guy's been beating me the last couple of seasons. I'm going to prove you guys wrong at my home, and we're going to win this and get to the Super Bowl.
I think, another thing, the guttiness that Patrick showed. Yes, he put that team on his shoulders and just said, I refuse for us to lose a 4th time to Joe Burrow and the Bengals. But I think when the teammates of Patrick Mahomes saw that fire in his eyes, it's like, man, we can't let this guy down. We got to do it for Patrick. What he's doing. Just the total opposite of what we saw from the 49ers when Purdy got hurt.
Yeah, well, here's the interesting thing. This is Patrick's, he's 27 years old. This is his 5th time in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, and he's won 3 of them.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has anointed TB12 as the GOAT, and rightly so. He's got 3 MVPs out of the 7 championship. But let me tell you something. If there's anybody going into Glendale and giving them 2 weeks time, it's going to be interesting. The chess match.
Oh yeah,
this is going to be a chess match in Glendale, guys. And I know we're going to talk about it later on, and Elvin, we'll get out there and then get around and get. But that's going to be a heck of a chess match.
Yeah.
Because
the bigger thing to me is you heard Patrick talking about, I believe it was in one of the maybe it was during the pregame, they were talking about what Patrick had said. He spent 4 hours a day in the hyperbolic chamber and trying to rehab the ankle. And look what he did on 8 days until he got re again. With 2 weeks now, that's going to give him an extra 6 days. I think he could be, with the technology we have now in the NFL, at least, to treat those kind of injuries accessible to him, I think he could be 85-90% for the Super Bowl game.
Hey, I think he's 85 or 95%. Compared to what he gutted out today. Hey guys, let's face it. I think the Eagles' defense is a little bit stronger up and down, all the way across the board than the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's go back to let me ask a quick point. How did the NFL? It was a heck of a catch. That wasn't a catch.
Yeah.
How did the NFL, with all this technology, with everything else, how did that get by them? I thought it was a great catch, and it did hit the ground. But I'm just trying to figure out, guys, how did the Eagles get by with that catch?
Well, because they ran to the line of scrimmage before any video was shown of the ball hitting the ground. And when that happened and they ended up getting the touchdown that shouldn't have been a touchdown because of that previous play on the drop or on the ball that hit the ground, my first thought was they've got to reassess this. And if it looks like a close call, it's got to be reviewed automatically like turnover. What should happen immediately beginning next season. Will it? No. They'll let it go on 3 or 4 more years, and then this will happen over 4 or 5 more times, and then suddenly, maybe we need to look at this, because that's what happened on checking for touchdowns and on turnovers. But I think it needs to be put in that same category. That's the only way we're going to fix this.
Lee Moncho, you got any additional comments? I thought initially I sit there and applauded it. I thought it was, but you know what? It was brought out during the game that the Eagles sort of knew it, and they had and all teams, and Lee Moncho, you probably speak to this more, that when they got a code word, and and everybody jumped on the ball real quick. Okay, let's go. So if you ain't trying, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. If you ain't trying, you ain't cheating. You know what? Okay.
They put the responsibility back on the league. They're like, look, we're gonna go ahead and move forward. If y'all catches, y'all catches. If y'all don't. So guess what? You know what? Roger was sitting up there with Dr. Biden. Dr. Biden. So he was present because we all know that was more ceremonial. Roger don't handle the heavyweights anymore. He's the commissioner. Yeah.
he's the commissioner. He don't have to do that. Hey guys, let me do this real quick. Come back, get a quick shout out right here, and then I'm coming right back. Okay.
All right.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
Two 235-5952. Ken Ross Agency, give him a call. Please give him a call. You know, by all means give him a call. Now I got some comments here. Andre was upset by the way the Kansas City game ended on some BS. Okay, Andre. He said, oh, and also insurance is a scam. Oh, okay. Thanks, Andre. But you know what? You know, I'd rather have it than don't have it sometime.
Andre sound like he trolling. Andre sound like he trolling you, AD.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I'm glad Andre. I'm glad Andre is just piping in, man. Hey, Andre, thanks for showing up. You know what? Tonight, let me ask this quick question, guys, and then we're gonna go ahead and call it a wrap. And you know, we'll take a hiatus. Because I know everybody's excited about the tag football game next week, right? I mean the flag football game. I know.
Right,
I know y'all are tag, flag, wag, whatever. I mean, whatever the hell they think they were gonna be playing next week. You know, the only thing I think is highlighted is Peyton and Eli, and you know they gonna be mic'd up, and I think it's gonna be the NFL version of Saturday Night Live with them two mic'd up doing this thing. But
I agree. Hey, I got something to tell you guys too. AD, well, I think maybe Lamont, you and I may have discussed him, but AD, I know.
You dropping in and out, Elwin. You dropped it.
You breaking up. Yeah, you got to repeat it.
I said, I know, AD, you and I have discussed him. Lamont, I don't know if you and I have or not, but my good friend Mike Malarkey, that's been a team photographer for the New York Giants for 43 seasons, he called me yesterday just really upset. The NFL has notified all of the NFL teams that they could only have one photographer on the field for the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl flag football game, there can only be one photographer for each NFL team. And they also told all the teams, oh, and by the way, that photographer has to be your social media photographer. So Mike Giants for 43 seasons, and he doesn't even have a press pass for the Pro Bowl flag football.
Well, because it's a social media event. That's all it is.
That's it. That's all it is.
I mean,
the fear that I have is that the way we're headed, we might as well say it's going to be the touch football league in another 5 or 6 years. Laugh, but remember, if I'm still alive and it happens, I'll say, you remember that night 5 years ago? Went on to ADMAXKORNER. I said this was going to happen.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. The way the way that the Dallas running back got tackled, you know, they talking about taking that to the competition committee now.
Yep.
And now I'm going and we, you know, we're gonna throw a couple of things around, then we're gonna wrap up.
Yep.
I'm sitting there looking at this, guys. I mean, I'm old school. I was raised old school.
Me too.
Lemont, you probably. I did have a helmet. It wasn't leather helmet. I did. I was. Okay.
You had face mask, huh?
Yeah, I had a face mask and all the other stuff. But at a certain point, man, you can only do so much to make this game quote unquote safe. Whatever that is. I'm not sure what that is. But what we have now, they are coming to the point, and I've said this earlier. What we see now in the NFL is a bastardized version of a game that I was raised in and grew up with. because of what they allow, what they allow and don't allow now. The 5-yard chuck rule. I mean, and I can understand a lot of line play and all like that because I've been down there in the trenches and it gets nasty down there, and I understand trying to protect certain things. But you know, it's only so much that you can do to protect the quarterback. And now with these read options, I mean, hey guys, I mean, are they gonna have to go back and really look at how they're gonna do this? Because more and more teams are now gonna start getting these read option quarterbacks. Because that's the league moving forward. Absolutely. So what are you gonna do?
Yep. Nothing. Well, I got another sidebar note for you that just blew me away when I heard it. You remember when they thought there was that possibility that Buffalo and Kansas City would be playing the championship game in Atlanta?
Yeah.
And in just a few hours, they sold 54,000 tickets. I heard a rumor the other day that supposedly the owners may consider it in their spring meetings to have the championship games at a neutral site every year because it will attract more interest.
No.
I don't want that out. What good does it do you to be the number 1 seed if you can't play at home?
Well,
and playing at home helped Kansas City tonight, in my opinion.
Oh, without a doubt. I think, but the Rooney, the owner, the managing partner for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he said when it came down for the owners to vote on that, they said no. They said now. I think he said no. I would love to see what that vote count might have been. They didn't have a majority vote to make it work, to make it go. But I'm just curious as to how many of those owners might actually would have gone and had to do it. I don't see the Rooneys doing it, but I don't see that. But Jerry, I mean, let's face it, we know Jerry is a businessman.
Yeah.
And Jerry loves coins.
Oh yeah.
And if Jerry, I mean, let's face it, the NFL with SoFi Stadium, that's Jerry got in the middle of all that with Richardson when he was the owner of the Panthers when they worked out that deal, and the NFL got a new studio and everything out there along with SoFi Stadium. Yep. Jerry put many millions of dollars into the owner's pockets then. So, that was. I mean, I don't like it. I'm like, yeah, what are you playing for?
Yeah. If you're not going to get to be playing at home for the championship game, why should you care if you're 13-4 or 8-9 like Tampa Bay was?
Yeah. I mean, you play, and let me see if this resonates with y'all. You play the game to win.
Yeah.
I don't know if that resonated with y'all, but somebody said that.
Come on, AD.
Huh?
Come on now, AD.
Well, you played the game to win. I mean, and you want to win. When you win, and you're supposed to be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
And when you lose a bunch of games, you're rewarded with the first of the you drafted in the first 5 rounds because you're horrible like the Texans are right now. And so they are being drafted in the top 1 or 2. And I mean, I'm reading all kind of ridiculous things and hearing all kind of ridiculous things. I think the scariest thing I'm seeing now is that the owners of the Texans are having a much more input in who's going to be the new coach, who's going to be the subsequent coach of the Texans. I don't know if I ought to be feeling good or bad about that. Well, who the hell was making the decisions before?
Yeah, I feel bad just simply because I don't trust them making the decisions. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge D'Amico Ryans fan. I was from when he was drafted, the way he played those years, 6 years for the Texans, the career that he had. He always did everything right. But I'm still scared to death he's going to get ripped just like David Culley and Lovie Smith did.
I can definitely see that. I can see that. But he's going to have some strong offensive coordinators and offensive side of guys to balance it out. The Texans can't go 1 and done 3 years in a row. Well, I can't say can't. They can do whatever they want because they're a billionaire franchise. But from a PR standpoint, they got to bring somebody in there that's going to grow some roots for at least a minimum of 3 seasons. 3 seasons. I mean,
I could see happening. And because of the clout that DeMeco Ryans has and the fact that he is highly sought after right now, I would say probably the number 2 guy behind Sean Payton before things went downhill for Sean Payton. I think DeMeco is in a position that he can just come in and say, okay, guys, under the table here, so to speak. I'm sure it'll never be publicly brought out, but you are not going to do me like you've done these last 2 guys. You either give me some sort of absolute guarantee you're going to give me 3 years to put a winning team on the field, and if you're not going to do it, I'll take my services somewhere else. And I think DeMeco is intelligent enough to do something like that.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I love he didn't push it, even though they gave him the big contract. I know why he didn't push it because, it just happened once. But now it's happened twice. And I think if DeMeco is offered the position and accepts it, that he is going to have some hard line guarantees that this will not happen to him like it did David Culley and Lovie Smith.
I agree. You have to. I mean, his team, his agent, and his team has to put something in place that's going to secure him the opportunity for 3 years. You think about it, they get DeMeco as a head coach, the fans can gravitate and resonate with him. They already have the number 2 pick. So if they get a brand new quarterback, that gives the fan base, the season ticket holders, the people to come back to NRG, say, okay, we're going to buy into this rebuilding process. Just keep DeMeco, at quarterback, at the head coach position, and allow us to grow with him as a coach as well as the quarterback you're going to draft, and let's build this thing the right way and not think we're going to turn this thing around overnight.
Right. And, the thing about it is with DeMeco, if he can't get some guarantees, and I'm sure his agent will push hard for that, he could stay in San Francisco for the next 20 years with what he's done for that defense.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, let's wrap it up with the team up north with the star on the side, the helmet. Kellen Moore is not coming back, but Elwin, I text this to you when I looked up. I'm trying to figure out. I don't think it was the Cowboys' defense was the weakness for this team this year. But no. Why are we getting down with the linebacker with the majority of the defensive staff and cleaning house, or at least not offering another contract? Elwin first, and you, Lemar, because I got some questions. Even though Kellen Moore's that, I mean, the guys, your defensive line coach, your linebacker coach, and all, like, you getting down with all these guys. I didn't think that was your problem this past season.
It wasn't, but here's the thing. In my mind, knowing Jerry, being around Mike McCarthy, knowing a little about him, I think Jerry called him in after the loss last Sunday to San Fran and said, Mike, I still got faith in you. I'm not going to get rid of you, but you got to make some hard decisions. We're going to have to get rid of some people. And basically, on the defensive side, almost every one of those cuts were coaches whose contracts were expiring that they just technically just chose not to renew. Now, the hard thing for me to understand is I disagreed with Kellen Moore's play calling at some point in just about every game. Some of the things he did made no sense at all. Like that last play last week that they attempted to run an atomic bomb blow up. But I was ready for Kellen Moore to move on. I think the majority of Cowboys fans were. But the problem is Mike McCarthy has already said, even though we're going to get a new offensive coordinator, I am probably going to be calling plays. Now, he did that most of the time he was in Green Bay, and he did win a Super Bowl one of those years, but that was a while ago. So I just don't really understand. I'm tickled to death Dan Quinn is staying, but I have a suspicion since Jerry gave him a huge raise last year to get him not to go away. I got a funny feeling Jerry called Dan Quinn in and simply said, look, if I could have gotten Sean Payton this year, I'd have probably let Mike go. But I don't think Sean really wants to come to Dallas. I don't think we're going to get him. We're not going to pay what the Saints want for him this year. If Mike doesn't get us to promised land next year, Dan, hang with me. You're going to be the next head coach. And I figure he probably wrote another little check as well because, yeah, he loves coin, but Jerry's not Bitcoin. Jerry's whole coin.
No, I agree. I think he's setting it up for this is Mike McCarthy last year. I mean, let's face it. If they can't get over the hump of one victory in the playoffs or get to the promised land, Jerry's going to pull the cord. He has to. I mean, what are you waiting around for another season for Mike McCarthy to let you down? And Mike McCarthy in return is saying, if it's going to be me, if I'm on a chopping block, I might as well just go and start making the play calls myself. And exactly. if I'm gonna get executed, I might as well go on my own terms instead of going on somebody else's terms.
Well, wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. Didn't Jerry have this conversation with Mike a couple of years ago to let allow the play calling to go back for him to quit calling the plays?
He did. Yes, he did. So that's why I don't understand why he's going to take it back over or be allowed to this time. But I'll tell you what the big problem is. In my mind, the biggest problem. You look at the Texans. What do we average actually seats or bodies in seats? Maybe 25 to 30,000 most games, except the KC game, and the KC fans showed up, and we had 50,000 or so in there that day. But the Cowboys fans just keep putting up with it. They are in that stadium an hour and a half packed out, and Jerry's not losing a cent. McNair is losing money in regard to the fans not showing up for all the concessions he's missing out on. But until the Dallas fans, okay, I'm going to use the word, get intelligent enough to send a message to Jerry, hey, you give us winner year after year after year. You don't fold when you get to the playoffs in the first game or not get to the championship game for 27 or 30 years, or we're going to quit coming. They did that right after Jimmy Johnson left. And I remember covering a couple of games up there that the stadium was half full. And when that happened, Jerry turned things around and started doing some things the way, in my opinion, they should have been. But that's the difference between Cal and Jerry. Jerry's still making more money than he's ever made because the fans still show up because they're the Dallas Cowboys and their fans are going to be there.
Well, all right. Okay, guys. Super Bowl 57. Teams are set. Who's favored? I mean, obviously, I think the Eagles going to be favored. I haven't even thought about looking at the lines, looking at the score. What is it? What Eagles by 3.5, 4?
I think it's going to be 3.5 or 4. Yeah.
You want to pick an early one, or you want to just wait and see how the injuries could look at Elwin?
No, I'm going to not do what I did last week. I'm not going to go with my gut. I'm going with my heart. Patrick Mahomes is going to find a way to get it done. And although I got censored on Facebook last year, and I told them I didn't think I deserved, they told me I was going to be kicked off for 24 hours, and I said I don't think I deserve it for what I said. I did get censored, and they told me they were not going to censor or not pull me off, but not to ever post anything like that again. But I will say exactly what I think. Die, Eagles, die.
Okay. Like a true Dallas Cowboy. I'm not gonna say fan.
That is why I hate them, because yes, I was a Cowboys fan. I remember Buddy Ryan and Jimmy Johnson. I remember the batteries being wrapped in snowballs chunked at Cowboys players when they went on the field. When they went on the field in one of those games when Buddy was there, and I remember them booing Santa Claus. So I'm not a Philadelphia. It's, to me, Philadelphia is anything but the city of brotherly love.
Well, you just mad because Santa Claus didn't bring you what you wanted.
You're right.
Lima, what do you Lima, what do you think? What do you think? We're gonna wrap it up.
I'm totally opposite of what everyone's thinking. I'm going with the Eagles. I think it's the year of Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna support the local product out of Channelview, Texas, and I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts. As long as he stay upright and healthy, the Eagles, from what I saw, he came out red hot today. So I believe the Eagles will continue to roll at Phoenix or Glendale.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing too, and I hope the majority of the media now, Jalen is a coach's son.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we know about this, out of being out of channel view, but the rest of the world, I mean, it's almost like, that this kid, I mean, he's mentally tough. I mean, obviously his dad, with everything, he understands the game. He's mentally tough, and I think he has embraced that Philadelphia. He embraces that Philadelphia crowd, that mentality up there. I mean, that's a lunch pail type crowd up there. They can be nasty, but I just hope that that him being a coach's son and his dad gets some credit or show some love by the national media, because his football acumen and everything, I think, goes directly back to his father, and what he's had to work on and what he's grown into. So I mean, in that standpoint, that's one thing I want to see totally evolve. I know I'll be talking more about it as we get to, but the fact that he's the coach's son, and what he's doing. Give credit what credit is due. His dad, I think his mother and his father, but particularly from a football acumen standpoint, give his dad the credit that he deserves. This kid is tough. He's mentally tough. He's a good player, and give it to him. And that's gonna be that's my bailiwick for the night, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Thing.
Huh?
You didn't say who you think's gonna win. You ain't gonna get off that easy.
I tried to do that last week, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Hey, I'm going with the Eagles, man. I mean, I just defensively, I'm looking at it. I mean, I'm looking at the. I just think it's something about what is it, every 5 years that the Eagles. I mean, it sort of look like and now could this be one of the highest scoring Super Bowl games? Could I mean? I'm still mixed in between. Even though I thought there was some good defensive plays today. I thought Chris Jones, finally, he finally, and let me just say this. I know they probably already voted, but will Chris Jones get the big defensive player of the year, or is it going to go to Bosa?
It's going to go to Bosa.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
But Chris Jones certainly deserved as much, in my opinion, as Bosa did.
What do you think, Neymar?
They probably going to give it to Bosa because it falls right in the
number of sacks.
Yeah, it falls in the theme of the better defense with the 49ers. D'Amico Ryans, everybody like that. So I give it to Bosa.
Okay. All right. Hey guys, as always, appreciate it. We'll take a hiatus out on. I know y'all dying to want to talk about flag football next week, but I don't.
I'll be there.
I don't.
I'll be there.
You are?
Gamble for me, Erwin.
Yeah, I fly to Vegas Tuesday morning. I'm covering the East-West Shrine College game Thursday night at Allegiant Stadium, and the backyard flag football game Sunday.
Oh, okay. Well, hope nobody don't break a toenail or something. Hey guys, appreciate it. As always, y'all take care. We'll get back together again. Again, the lineup is set. And guys, I appreciate it. Thank y'all as always. Okay.
Thank you, AD.
All right, folks. As we get ready to wrap it up, Super Bowl 57 is set up, ready to roll. The Philadelphia Eagles will. Darn, I forgot. I'm trying to figure out who's the home team. I think. Anyway, Pat Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, 2 kids out of Texas. That's interesting. Two Texas raised quarterbacks will be there, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a Texan that Reed is going to be there along with he left from the Houston Texans. He's going to be there. He'll get a taste of the Super Bowl. So, what all said to do, hey, I appreciate it. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for those that. Thank you for the comments, Andre. I appreciate it. Everybody that listen. So, without further ado, as we get ready to sign off for the night and get ready, and I'll probably see y'all. We'll see you coming from Glendale in about a week and a half, I give or take. Jermaine Adolphus AD Moore on the ADMAX Corner. And if you have not subscribed to the corner, please do so. If you're listening on the Houston Roundball channel and haven't subscribed, please do so, folks. Subscribe to both of them. Hey, we need it. We want you. We always try to keep some worthwhile, interesting, thought-provoking, and just flat out having fun and doing what we like best. And that's the way to give our opinion about what we think about the world of sports, in particular the NFL football and basketball, college basketball with Chris and all the rest of the guys over there on the Houston Roundball Review channel. But over here, you'll be seeing him talking about the football, and particularly the professional football. And with the advent, with the off season coming up, we got the Gamblers coming up. So, you'll probably be seeing some information about the Gamblers coming up here on the corner. But anyway, as always, this is your man again, Adolphus A.D. Moore, signing off. I'll be talking to you in about 8 to 10 days from Glendale, Arizona. Folks, I'm out. Ciao. Peace. We gone.